media meltdown, and neither billionaires nor journalists can stop it. This is Hollywood Reporter, page 5, if you want to go to it. The media business is facing a crisis unlike anything since 2008 financial mess, with layoffs and cost-cutting at every turn impacting major publishers like WAPO, LA Times, Time, Condé Nast, Sports Illustrated. Oh, my God, Sports Illustrated is going through a mess right now. Business Insider, New York Daily News, National Geographic, Baltimore Sun. Billionaire acquisitions included Bezos buying $250 million purchase at a WAPO in 2013, Chris Hughes' ownership of the News Republic, and Pierre Omidyar's First Look Media venture have largely flattered, with many of them shedding staff or experiencing financial difficulties. Even private equity ownership has not been successful in rescuing media companies, as evidenced by staff walkouts at New York Daily News, layoffs at Forbes, and layoffs at Business Insider, which is owned by KKR-backed Axel Springer. And by the way, I can give you a couple other stories here with what's going on with these other guys. But Tom, I'll pause there. Tom, is there any saving with these media brands? Is it done? Are we at a phase right now where some of these guys are sitting there saying, dude, I don't want to be a journalist for you. My name is Barry Weiss. I'm going to go start a Substack, and I'm going to write myself, and I'm going to make $500,000 as a writer. My name is Glenn Greenwald. I don't need to be a writer for you. I'm going to go do it myself. Mm-hmm. Is it that ugly where the only writers left at WAPO, at New York Times, at these companies are the ones that need the job because they're not good writers? What do you think?
I think there's some of that, absolutely, for sure. And I think you also look between the lines here. I don't like necessarily their ethos or what they stand for, but the New York Times has done the best job, and the Wall Street Journal have done the best job going back 10 years managing the digital conversion. We've gone from print to digital, and the stories you put out on digital have to be interesting enough that someone is willing to pay a small subscription for it. The New York Times has figured it out, and the Wall Street Journal has figured it out. Everyone else that waited or didn't figure it out or put up a paywall late or doesn't have anything interesting behind the paywall, they're dying. We just saw the walkouts that happened. And by the way, it cracks me up. We're about to lay off people. Well, then we're staging a walkout, and I'll say, Fred, can you look out the window and tell me who exactly walked out? Why? It's just going to make it easier to choose who's laid off, because the ones that are still inside here that are actually working, we're going to keep them. But I think it's exactly what you said. Glenn Greenwald saw the writing on the wall. He went out to Substack, and look what he's got going now. There are writers like that are great and gifted and good investigators, and they found a way to put themselves out there, their own byline, and then you've got the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times getting it right. Everybody else has screwed this thing. This is a digital conversion, what they're facing, along with the price of ads, and they've screwed it up, and they're suffering the consequences, and this is what's happening.
Let me
this
ask.
This is the fallout.
Question that I asked last night during dinner. I'm sure you remember this question is. So if we're able to buy, Rob, can you pull up Sports Illustrated was bought for how much? If you just pull up Sports Illustrated was purchased for how much? Sports Illustrated was purchased for
$110 million.
What year?
5 years ago.
5 years ago.
5 years ago for $110 million. By the way, you know what it's probably worth today? $40 million.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's the other way around. If that.
And that was an overpay.
And do you know why? Go type in Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition cover. Go type in Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition cover.
What year? This year?
Just type in that and go to images and see what comes up.
By the way, viewer discretion is advised.
No, go.
Well, you got to see the recent covers because they've changed exponentially to what they were a few years ago.
What do you want? What's the right word to put? Big girl?
2024.
2024, yeah.
Voluptuous? What's the plus size?
Ashley Graham
plus
is on
size.
there.
Plus size. Meti plus size.
I see where you're
Plus
going
size.
with this, Pat. I have some commentary.
But I mean, first they put a guy on it, on the cover. Okay? Look at that. That's not sexy, guys. Yeah. I mean, listen, we can sit here and listen. I have friends. I had a guy back in the day, Speedy Espinoza, my roommate. He only liked girls over 250 pounds. Mm-hmm. But he was the only one that liked them over 250 pounds. Now, you may have a couple friends yourself as well. Great.
No.
Look, let me put it to you this way. Watch this. My body right now wouldn't cut it to be on any magazine. I don't belong on a cover of a magazine if you want to show off my body. Don't feel bad for me. I'm not in the best shape of my life. Your body, you can be on a cover of a magazine. And by the way, I'm not saying this because Vinny is, a guy I love and his family. It's because you're the best in shape guy in this entire building.
Yeah. Other than Tom.
No one is in better shape than you. You deserve to be on a cover magazine, not me. My feelings doesn't need to get hurt.
Yeah.
Why? I eat more sugar than you do.
Yeah.
You don't eat sugar as much as I do. You're more disciplined than I am when it comes down to working out. You deserve to be on a cover like this, right? We have come into this mode that people are worried about my feelings or other people's feelings. So let's make everybody happy. No, a brand that was known as the brand that we would buy where Michael Jordan was on the cover. And you're like, oh my God, Kobe's on it. Who's going to make it on the cover? LeBron James coming out of high school. He's going to be the next king. He's going to.
Sportsman of the Year was a huge honor.
Are you kidding me now? It's like, everything changed with Sports Illustrated, right? Rob, go type in LA Times. I'm still going to my question with you. What was LA Times sold for? I think it was $550 million.
Wow.
It may be less than that, but $500 million. Okay. To Peter Sung Jeong, something like that, I think his name is.
Chinese company?
Yeah. So watch this, $500 million. What year was this sold? Can you click on that article, see when it was sold for $500 million? Oh, they're laying it off now. You won't find it out there. This was probably 6 years ago. Okay. You know what LA Times is probably worth today?
Less.
$250 million.
Half?
So, Tom, here's a question. If we can buy LA Times today for $200 million, should we do it?
I don't think so. I think you're trying to catch a falling knife at that price. I think that there's great. So the question is, are there great publications in here or are there great brands in here? And I think there's some great brands that are still in here that might have some residual value. But the LA Times, man, you'd have to take that and do digital as well as the New York Times did. And I think it would be tough.
I'll give you a little insight here. So there's three terms that come to mind with everything that's going on here, and those words are trust, truth, and credibility. What do I mean? There's something that's constant. There's something that's changing. What has changed in the media industry over the last decade or two? Everything's gone from paper to digital. That was the whole rush. Oh, we got to get to digital. We got to get to digital. There's nobody who gets the paper anymore. I read the Wall Street Journal every day on my phone. I mean, how many, you occasionally get the paper. A lot harder to do with that. How many times are we just forwarding articles digital? Yep. The way of the world has gone digital. But what has not changed is the trust factor. What has not changed is the trust factor. What we just saw the other day, your friend posted this, Bill Maher. He said, who are the most trusted media personalities in the world? Look where they're located. Media personalities. They didn't say journalists.
Cali?
Number one, not physically located, but number one was Bill Maher. Right behind him was Joe Rogan. Right behind him was Tucker. And right behind him was Jake Tapper. What does that mean? 3 out of the 4 are not on typical legacy media. Bill Maher's on HBO, and he kind of has a little thing with CNN, his overtime thing he's got on, but he does the Club Random, which you're familiar with. He does that. He's online. He's on YouTube. He's not exactly establishment per se. Joe Rogan is 0% establishment. He's the biggest podcaster in the world. Second most trusted. Third, Tucker, that was establishment. Is anybody that's been at war with the establishment in the news media game than Tucker over the last 12 months? Nobody. And then fourth, Jake Tapper, because he's pretty much the one guy on CNN. People are like, all right, he's got some credibility here. He's not as biased as everybody. So what's happened is the game has changed. It's gone from print to digital. That's not breaking news. But what is changing is who people trust and who they're willing to have credibility in. It's the reason why disruptive podcasts are getting so many views these days, because people are saying, look, I don't know if these guys are right or wrong, but at least trust them to try to find out the truth. Veritas is what people are going for. So legacy media, a lot of these institutions we talked about were actual papers.
Do you think the right person can buy an LA Times and win digital and make it valuable later on? Do you think somebody can buy a Sports Illustrated, a WAPO, a LA Times, and a Forbes, a Fortune, and still make it win?
Not if they're doing the exact same business models they've always done. They have to change and evolve. Meaning, if the LA Times, and I know nothing about the LA Times because I'm a Miami Herald guy, but I listen to the Herald, I watch the Herald, but they're almost like a dying newspaper. And I love the Herald. They have to evolve. All these, I don't want to give these guys any ideas, but the LA Times needs to have a badass podcast associated with it. Just like the Miami Herald should have a badass podcast and disruptive and videos and like that. That's what's going on. If you just still print your paper from your typical journalist thing, you're dead.
I think if somebody bought it, Pat, they'd have to literally come out the gate with something strong and say, listen, we're not the old. This is the brand new. This is how, like we're talking about the Miss Universe thing. Somebody has to come out and punch them in the face to get all those people that have lost the trust because of the credibility, because all these, they're not reporters. They're not journalists anymore. They're shills for
activists.
They're activists for a political party.
Both sides.
I get it. I just want somebody to give me the facts. We'll spill it out. You guys make your own decisions. I don't want somebody going, this is good, this is bad, and if you don't believe in it, then you're the bad person. That's what I don't like. But it had to be something monumental for me to purchase something like that.
My short answer is yes. The right person could buy it with strategy, clean up what they've got, and move it forward. Now, there are case studies in American history. Harley Davidson went through a great brand. We can all agree there are people that buy Harley Davidson apparel that have never sat on a Harley Davidson motorcycle. Harley Davidson has gone through 2 cycles where the right owner and the right strategy revitalized the company. And I think somebody could buy these at the right price and take advantage. There's a lot of people like me that still have a lot of, not nostalgia, but a lot of trust in some of these media brands if they were being led. So my short answer is yes, somebody could do it and focus on it and lead through it. You've seen it happen.
Well, LA Times, I know I've driven by the LA Times with you, and every time we drive by, you're like, see this thing over here? We could have bought this. This is something. It was Chinese bought this, whatever. New York Times, Washington Post, New York Post even. I feel, this is me, not an LA guy. I don't know. I feel like those, especially Wall Street Journal, have way more credibility than the LA Times. I don't know anybody, especially on the East Coast, that's like, you see what they said in the LA Times? Zero. I don't know. Maybe it's just a lack of credibility.
Right.
Who's the group that said Bill Maher is the most trusted?
Let's find that. He posted it.
Oh, Bill Maher posted it.
Bill Maher posted it. Yeah.
If he's in the top 3 most trusted in news,
there it is right there.
That poll is where did he get that poll? WPA Intelligence. What the hell's that?
That's WAPO.
Well, he's on the top.
That's my point.
But who is WPA Intelligence though? Who are those guys?
Washington
WPA.
Post Associated. What the hell is that?
He posted it, guys.
Yeah.
So I'm going on what Bill Maher posted.
No, I'm asking you, what is WPA
I don't know.
Intelligence?
Let's find out.
That's the question I got.
It says, "In God we trust."
But that might be a fake thing because there's no way he's number 1 trusted.
Okay, so
that means you don't believe that Joe Rogan's number 2?
I think there's no
Tucker's
way
number 3.
I would put Tucker way in front of Bill Maher. Bill Maher wouldn't even be in my top 5 for people to trust about the news. The same guy that told us Russia, Russia, Russia. The same guy that tried to make everybody believe that Trump was a Hitler bad man. Get out of it, bro. There's no way.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.